I was born in Texas. I'm probably a fourth or fifth generation native Texan, and I grew up watching the Cowboys. We would go visit our grandparents in Mineral Wells, and we would watch every Thanksgiving. Three or four generations of us would all just be around the TV watching. I didn't know a thing about football back then. It hasn't improved much now. But to me, they represent just family tradition, and there's nothing like seeing them take that field with the star on their helmet. I haven't, to my knowledge, ever heard anything derogatory about Cowboys fans, but I could be biased. I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to say first, you're extremely biased. Second of all, I have been all over this country, from Southern California, Las Vegas. I've even did a stint in Texas for a short time too, in Austin. I've been to Arizona, Tennessee, Georgia. I've been all over this country, and I will tell you this: the Cowboy fans that were made in the 90s, that were born in the 80s, watched them win those 3 Super Bowls, that did not live in Texas, are the most annoying fans in the world. These people run around in the 90s with their starter jackets. We're America's team. Yeah. Well, guess what? Your bandwaggers went pretty quiet after that last Super Bowl win. The fans originally from Texas, that were from there, grew up with them, they're not bad. They'll debate it. Yeah, they keep bringing up their 5 rings. Well, whoop-de-doo, there's a lot of teams that got 5 rings now. And there's a few more teams that are going to get past 5 rings before Dallas wins their 6th. And you're right, Texas has a strong football culture. Pop Warner High School, they produce some of the best football players that ever played college or NFL. But there is a trend in Texas right now. When you look at it, when was the last time the Texas Longhorns were up? When was the last time the Texas A&M Aggies were relevant? I mean, you look at the NFL, Houston Texans, they made it to the playoffs a couple of years ago, but at the same time, look at the dumpster fires going on there. So that brings me to the Dallas Cowboys. Right now, Texans have only one NFL team they can truly support, and that's Dallas. And they're not really a team you want to support, but the thing is they're kind of relevant, and there's high hopes for them. They have so much talent, but the problem is they don't have the talent where they really need it. And they're not going to get it because they have a senile old man running that team. So the true Texas fans that root for Dallas, I feel for them. But all these other fans that came up through the 90s that still love Dallas, you're the most annoying turds in the world.
Next time, Danny, though, will you go a little bit more into how you really feel about the Dallas Cowboys? It was pretty unclear from where I'm sitting.
I hate this damn team. And here's the reason why I hate them. Because they became so popular in the 90s because they won 3 Super Bowls in, 4 years? And the thing is, they are a team that did not deserve to win a damn Super Bowl in that time frame. They got it on pure luck that the entire NFC was in the process of rebuilding itself. The 49ers transitioned from Joe Montana to Steve Young, the Green Bay Packers getting Brett Favre, and for some reason the AFC decided they did not want to show up for 4 years and let the Bills go and be walked on in the Super Bowl. They have played in 8 Super Bowls, and all the Super Bowls they've won, except for one, they played against garbage teams. In Super Bowl 6, they murdered the Miami Dolphins that shouldn't have even been there. Then they beat the Denver Broncos. And if anyone knows the Denver Broncos from the 70s and 80s, they had no right to be in the Super Bowl. And then they beat the Bills. Good God. Leon Lett running it all the way back and losing the fumble. Down. The only Super Bowl they actually deserve to win was that last one against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are garbage. Since they've had Dak Prescott, they've had 3 winning seasons, only made the playoffs twice. They're 1-2, including missing the playoffs the last 2 years in the worst division in the NFL. They've gone through 7 coaches since 98. And like I said, their championships, their last 3 were on pure luck. They are so bad. The cheerleaders are not even what they used to be. They're like piñatas. I got to cover my eyes to think about hitting that. Go down. The only Super Bowl they actually deserved to win was that last one against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You said they won the Super Bowls by luck. I would have added money as a factor in there. They have been a money team as long as I can remember. I think Jerry Jones is too rich to die. I don't think we'll improve much with him around, calling the shots. I feel like the coaching in the past has been greatly inhibited by Jerry Jones's opinion, but we'll see what happens this season with Mike McCarthy. I don't know. I felt like McCarthy stood up to Jerry a little bit last season. I saw some improvement in the decision making, but who knows if he has the backbone to do it again this year. I remember my dad was very upset when Jimmy Johnson left and went to Miami. Started calling the Dolphins the Miami Cowboys. He was not pleased about that transition.
It's one of those things. It was extremely impressive what Jimmy Johnson did and shocked the world, because in the past, you might bring up one or two players each year in the draft that would build your team after having a lot of, bad seasons. But Jimmy Johnson took his superstar running back and traded him for draft picks. And everyone's like, what in the world? And the thing was, when the teams were drafting back then, there was like, oh, he was a big name. We saw him on TV. We'll take him. And Jimmy Johnson started making a system. And he drafted Troy Aikman out of UCLA. Then they got Irving out of Miami, which, Jimmy Johnson, it's one of those things. He built a really good program there. He had a lot of talent that he drafted and brought in, and it paid off. Now, I will say this. One of the most intriguing, I don't even think about this as, in the 90s as what defined them. What, to me, defined them and made them a team that everyone's like, hey, these are the Cowboys, is when T.O. went and put the football on the star after scoring a touchdown, and who went and creamed him? Emmitt Smith. And that was what, to me, defined the Dallas Cowboys, was you had a leader in Emmitt Smith, not Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman, isn't he from Texas? But it's one of those things. He couldn't tell the difference between a hog and a steer because there was so much brain damage with Troy Aikman. But you had Emmitt Smith, and that's what, to me, defined the Cowboys in the 90s, was Emmitt Smith's leadership to say, hey, we're going to go out there and we're going to do this. And he helped keep some of the guys in line. I mean, you had most of the guys out doing cocaine every night, hitting the titty bars, and Emmitt Smith's like, you guys will show up and do what needs to be done. And he carried that team, in my opinion. Jerry Jones brought in Jimmy Johnson to win. And the way Jimmy Johnson knew how to win was girls and drugs. And, that and perfecting the draft.
Grace, tell me about the Romo years. Tell me about how great it was to be a fan around then.
Oh, God. The ill-fated Romo years. Goodness gracious. This guy couldn't stay healthy to save his life. I mean, I remember the fans in that era, if you will, making excuse after excuse after excuse for this guy. And to no avail, like, oh, it's because he doesn't have an O-line. He doesn't have an O-line. Yeah, and the next day, he stubs his pinky toe and he's out for 3 or 4 weeks. Oh, it's just because he's dating Jessica Simpson and, he's distracted. I'm like, no, his head's not in the game, his head's not in the game. But he has one job, to throw a goddamn ball. And he failed at that quite a bit. It was pretty frustrating to watch. I remember receiving a Romo jersey as a gift. Really hard to wear, but I did, and I still have it. He stayed for too long. Jerry kept him there way too long. Coaches couldn't do anything with him, so it was annoying as fuck.
When you break it down, look who his head coaches were Wade Phillips and Jason Garrett. And not only was Jason Garrett his head coach, he was also the offensive coordinator under Wade Phillips. So it's one of those things. Like, I feel bad for him because Wade Phillips is not an offensive guy. And Garrett is dumber than the aluminum inside this beer can. It was, and he proved it. He could not do anything. So to me, Romo was just set up for failure. I'm not saying the offensive line didn't do their job. It was just one of those things. Romo was brittle, but the talent was there. And with the right offensive mind at the helm, they could have been far better than what they were with Romo.
Tell me about the Texas high school football experience.
I think Texas is pretty well known for their football programs starting from Pop Warner on. Friday Night Lights, every Friday night, alumni from high schools will, travel back and watch a game. It's the tradition of football is heavily, deeply rooted. And the loyalty for the Cowboys is, I've never seen anything like it, I feel like. But Cowboys fans, it's like a brotherhood. I moved to Florida early in my life, and I've lived in other states and been to other places. And when a Cowboys fan sees another Cowboy fan, and they're not in Texas, it's like you just made a best friend,
If you were to explain the Dallas Cowboys in one sentence, what would it be?
The Dallas Cowboys used to be the standard to which other teams were held, and now they are the laughingstock of the league.
What do you think of the Dallas football stadium?
It's really great for college football games.
I have heard that it has always been an open stadium because the Cowboys are God's team and he likes to watch them play. And that's why the stadium has always been open so God can watch. It's my team, that's all I know. I love my Dallas Cowboys.